What's up, Tangerines?
Hey guys, so we're currently standing in front of Farmacia Guadalajara because unfortunately we have a little bit of bad news. Something bad happened to Laska.
And we had to pick up this. It's an antiseptic that you put on wounds.
So today we're going to be telling you about our first experience at a vet in Mexico, a dog boarding place in Ajijic, and what happened with Laska.
It's not going to hurt. It's okay. It's okay. We're going to make sure you heal up really well.
Alright, so we're just going to begin at the beginning.
That's not redundant.
Not at all.
Okay, so we had a little staycation at Villa del Angel.
As you saw in our last video.
And we were going to board Laska at a local boarding place that had a high rating.
This is the first time we've ever really needed a boarding place or a dog sitter. For our trip to the border, we actually were contacted by someone who watched her for us, so that was just in someone's home.
Thank you, Abril.
Thanks, Abreu.
But anyway, the boarding facility required us to get flea treatment before bringing her there.
And so at this point, this is the first time that we've ever had to deal with going to a vet. And fortunately, there's one pretty close to us, so we stopped in to see about pricing there.
Vet recommended that in addition to the flea and tick treatment, that this is pretty high probability of getting heartworm or like various parasites here. So he
because of all the rains and the lake and things like that.
So he also recommended something that takes care of that as well. So it was this all-in-one thing, and it was 300 pesos, but because of the size of Laska, that was good for 2 months.
So we went into this vet's office and knew from the get-go that this was going to be a huge struggle in Spanish. Tons of words that we didn't know how to say.
Yeah, every time we go to like I was going to say the dentist, we haven't been to the dentist, but like every time we get a new experience, like a haircut, there's always a bunch of words we don't know.
Yeah, so in this case, we went in there riding the struggle bus hard. Thankfully, he spoke English, which was really nice. It made the whole thing much more simple. So that was it. We gave her the flea and tick treatment. It was just a little treat, which, I mean, Laska loves, so.
At this point, she thinks this is the treat doctor.
And so we were good to go. Then we took her to this dog boarding place. Thinking back, there were a few things that we could have done or maybe should have noticed.
Yeah.
Like, they actually didn't verify that she got this treatment. They didn't verify that she had any vaccines. They just took her right back to the place, and I mean, you could see the dogs, and they were all barking like crazy. I think I kind of assumed, like, oh, if we go in there, it might freak them all out more or something. That's why they didn't let us. But
yeah, and I was just relying on reviews.
yeah, so
the place gets good reviews.
It was so highly recommended, and we even looked on Facebook and Google Maps and things like that. Nothing seemed out of the ordinary.
Yeah.
We didn't have any reason to think that this would be a bad place. So
unfortunately, it turns out that this was a really, really bad experience for us, and we consider not making this video at all.
So everything was going according to plan. We dropped her off, we went for our little staycation, and when we picked her up again, when we went back there to pick her up and she saw us, she started making sounds like we had never heard before.
And we'd boarded her in the US and had her with a lot of sitters, and yeah, she's always really excited to see us.
And making tons of noises.
Yeah.
Typical husky Laska noises.
But these were like
get me the heck out of here.
completely different.
Her voice sounded a little bit hoarse, and she's typically not a barker. I mean, when people come over or something, unless there's something that seems off, she's not the crazy barking type. So to me, I don't imagine that she was getting hoarse from barking, although it's a possibility, we really don't know. But these were like sealed whines with a hoarse voice.
I didn't think anything of it at the time. I just thought she was extra excited to see us.
And when he went to go get her, she was scratching and pulling and just trying to get back to us. She finally did come around. She bolted to the gate and was literally trying to claw her way underneath the gate and jumping up and looking for any possible place that she could get out, which, again, at the time, I didn't think this was like oh, how weird, she's trying to escape, because
Yeah.
that's a husky's job. If you know anything about huskies, they're just wanting to go run for the hills. But it did seem weird that she was less excited to see us and more like, let me get out of this place in any way that I can.
Oh yeah.
And at this point, we didn't see anything wrong. It was just like, this is interesting behavior.
So at this point, we asked how much it was, and she had stayed 3 nights. It's 150 a night. We knew that, and they said 450 pesos. So we paid them.
After that, I thought to ask, for some reason, like, were there any problems?
Not something we just generally ask when we board her.
Not because we saw anything, but it was just like, did she have to be put away in a different cage or something like that? They said no. We're like, okay, good to go. So we turned around and headed for the car.
As soon as we were walking away, I noticed this big chunk and like bloody ear.
Mud. And
Why
I
I didn't notice this before, I think it was because her ears were back. And
when she gets happy, she just tucks her ears right back on her head, and so that would have covered up that part. At that point, we turned around instantly and went back to them, and I was at the gate like, disculpe, ¿qué pasó? So he came back over. At that point,
he said they threw a ball and
they were playing with all the dogs.
multiple dogs went for it and then bit her ear. Like, there's a significant chunk of her ear missing.
So I feel like this would have been a little bit different if it was maybe just a wound or something, but this is like literal part of her ear is missing. And so leading up to this, they did not call us. They didn't contact us when this happened. It was very obvious when we picked her up that it was not cleaned, it was not treated, there was still original blood crusted on there.
Perhaps they cleaned it originally, but they didn't keep it clean because there was dirt
No way.
all over it.
I don't even think that, because if she had just been rolling around in the dirt, which she does sometimes, there'd be dirt all over her. There was really only dirt on this part of her. So that was the first strike. They didn't clean, or well, that's 2 actually. They didn't clean it, they didn't call us. Third strike.
We had originally booked 2 nights there.
Oh,
and
yeah.
then after the second night, I called them and I was like, hey, we have Laska staying there. Would it be all right if she stayed 1 more night? And they said, yeah, that'll be just fine. Didn't say a word about it.
Bring anything of this up, which would have been valuable information for us to know. We might have considered changing our plans if that was the case.
Oh, we absolutely would have.
And then there's the fact that we asked if anything happened and they said no. I feel like that's kind of the nail in the coffin of neglect and negligence, lying.
And one more thing, it's somewhat of a minor thing considering the other stuff that happened.
But considering the rest of this situation, if this was the only thing, we wouldn't even bring it up, but...
Yeah, we brought at least a week's worth of food for her. I always like to bring extra food.
A sizable container.
And every time I've boarded her in the past, I always get back the rest of the food.
And when she goes to stay somewhere else, we know this is a fact. She doesn't eat as much because she's in a strange environment.
A little stressed out, a little excited, whatever it is.
Yeah, so to think that we brought over a week's worth of food and it was completely gone seems a little bit like, what's going on? Why?
Yeah, and plus it's a little annoying because we're about to run out of food and now we have to go to Guadalajara sooner.
So at this point, we're just trying to let it all sink in. What just happened? What should we do about it? We knew, obviously, that we needed to take her to the vet immediately.
That was my #1 concern. I'm like, we need to go to the vet right now and get this wound taken care of.
It was just it's so obvious that it wasn't clean. They didn't do anything with it. They didn't mention it. It was like, this could have an infection by now. It's been 3 days. We don't know when it had happened.
Yeah, got her in the car, went straight to the vet where we got the tick and heartworm and parasite treatment before. Laska, look at me. Your poor ear. So right now we're pulling up to the vet to hopefully get this wound cleaned up and make sure she's all right. He's great. He took her right back immediately.
Hey there. Hey. We just picked Laska up from the boarding place and noticed that she has a really big bite taken out of her ear.
Oh, Laska.
She remembers this place. This is where I got the treats.
Of course. She doesn't, we don't know how long ago it happened.
She doesn't seem bothered by it?
No.
Not really, but...
Maybe she's more excited to see us.
Laska, sit.
Hold on.
Laska, sit.
Hold on. Is there anything you can do for her at this point?
So we can clean it up. and give her a supplementary shot.
Good
It's
girl.
okay.
Good girl, yeah,
okay.
good girl.
If anybody asks girl, you just tell them you fight off a bear. But if, for example, they were both going for the ball and she tried to catch it and the other dog feel like they're going to take it away from them, it goes like, it goes like that, like rope fight, like flash attack, and then.
Okay.
Super good with her. You can tell he absolutely loves animals. And he cleaned up the wound, gave her two shots.
Antiseptic spray on it.
Yeah, 2 shots. I forget exactly what they were for. I'm sure one was an antibiotic and
Infections. So
yeah.
he knew what to do immediately. That was really reassuring.
But
what he did say was that it had probably, based on the looks of the wounds, happened about 2 days ago, which would have been the first day that we dropped her off.
It is somewhat old, like 2 or 3 days old.
So probably right when we dropped her off then.
Yes, probably a few hours or at the very least a day after.
So in those 2 days after that happened, where it was not cleaned, she could have very easily gotten an infection, which is really, really
disturbing.
Yeah,
Like,
disconcerting.
We treat her as our child, and I know
She's our doctor.
I know all of you dog owners, or almost all of you, feel the exact same way. It's a really tough situation. So if there's any positive thing about this, it's that our vet is really good and took great care of us, didn't try to take advantage of us. In Mexico, we've gotten in the habit of always asking for the price first, and we didn't do that this time when Laska got injured.
Because we were really frazzled, honestly.
Yeah.
We were just like, take care of our poor baby.
And
didn't even think about it.
he took her in immediately, gave her a full exam, gave her a couple shots, cleaned the wound, and it was 200 pesos, which we think is very reasonable.
So at this point, we're trying to make sense of this situation. What should we do? Should we go back there? How should we handle this? And we're wondering, should we put this on our channel? And so we asked you guys on our Facebook.
And should we name the dog boarding place?
Yeah, should we say the name of this place? We asked you guys on Facebook, we asked you guys on Instagram, and the consensuses on both those were very different. But we're not here to destroy local businesses.
I have mixed feelings about this because, like, if a business is negligent and this is something that happens, they shouldn't be in business. Like,
yeah, and other dogs or people or whoever shouldn't be at risk.
On the other hand, like, accidents happen. You don't want to ruin someone's livelihood because of, like,
one incident.
Accident, yeah.
So we posted a few pictures for you guys and asked what you thought. What we think is probably two of the most important things that we got from your comments are that, one, laws about, thanks for kisses, laws about slander and libel are much different in Mexico than they are in the US, so there's different laws surrounding that.
If anyone has details on that, we'd appreciate them,
yeah,
because no one went into detail, I don't think.
The other thing is there could be retaliation against our channel, against us personally, because this is where we're living right now. And we definitely don't want that. If anything were to happen to this channel, we wouldn't be able to continue putting out videos about Mexico for you guys. So we kind of have to be careful about that.
In this case, yes, these accidents happen, but I think they handled it very, very poorly. And then they straight up lied to our face about it after it happened.
Yeah, so at the very least, we're not going back there. And what we ultimately decided, whether we should tell you the name of this place and include it in a video or not, if you absolutely want to know because you're worried you might take your dog to a place that's not going to take very good care of them, or that something like this might happen, please email us with the title
Dog Safety.
Dog Safety, because we're going to set up an autoresponder. I imagine, like any other time we invite you guys to email us, we'll get hundreds of emails, so please put Dog Safety in the title and we will just automatically send you the name of that place. That is our experience with this. Let us know what you guys think about this situation. I mean, the vet said that at this point, she will always be missing a chunk of her ear, so that's a little bit, like, as dog parents, I'm sad to know that. Like, I am almost like, could we have done a better job to protect her, or do more research, or been more careful or something.
And hopefully she heals up besides that.
If there's no infections or anything. Let us know what you guys think in the comments. This is, I would say, probably our worst experience in Mexico.
In 7 months.
Yeah. So thankfully it wasn't worse, and things happen. They do happen.
Sorry this video was a little more somber than
A
our
little bit of
typical
a bummer.
video.
I'm sorry.
But if you didn't like this video, go ahead and subscribe because our other videos aren't like it.
And give it a thumbs up anyway, not because you're happy that Laska got hurt, but because, you know, you like us. I hope. And gong that bell so you get notified the next time we put out a new video, a happier one, and we'll see you there.